the weekend in Calgary, there was a pro-terror rally in front of Calgary City Hall. Can you even imagine? But yes, it's true. There was a rally to celebrate Al-Quds Day. Now, Al-Quds means Jerusalem, and Al-Quds Day was declared by Iranian Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini in 1979 to fall on the last Friday of Ramadan. It's a day to renew the Iranian struggle against Zionism and the State of Israel. Now, when I say renew the struggle, what I really mean is reaffirm the radical Islamic commitment to wipe out the State of Israel and to eliminate the Jewish people from the face of the earth. Rallies are held in Islamic nations all across the world calling for the death of Israel, and they burn effigies of American symbols. It's a call to ethnic cleansing, really. It's definitely pro-terror. It's a day that renews the call to commit terrorism against Israeli children in their beds. Well, every year, pro-Palestinian people calling themselves peace activists, which basically is just shorthand for genocidal anti-Semites, they bring their rallies to cities all across Canada, including Calgary. Now, the pro-terror activists this year held signs comparing the Israeli Defense Forces to ISIS and other such blood libel. They also dragged their children and their women out to these rallies to accuse Israel of war crimes. Now, this year there was a very heavy police presence, and that was understandable given the violence that broke out at a similar pro-Hamas rally in the same place in 2014. This year, the two groups were separated by the police onto either sides of the street. The two groups being the pro-Hamas supporters and the Jewish Defense League and their allies. Now, the Jewish Defense League is committed to making sure that Jews are there to protest and be seen and be heard and to stand in opposition to the threats and celebrations of genocide directed at them. And the JDL and their many supporters over the weekend were there to sing and celebrate the freedoms in Canada, to rally and express our opinions peacefully. And they did. They were joyous in their defiance. Holly Nicholas and I headed into the pro-Israeli side to ask them why they thought it was important to counter the lies they were hearing from the other side of the street. Here.
It's very important because God gave them from time immemorial the land of Israel to live in. And I don't think if the Arabs want to live in Israel, if they don't want to live in peace with their neighbors, that Israel should have the right to ask them to leave.
Israeli people and Jewish people only want to have peace. They only want love, peace, freedoms. And that's what we have in Canada.
Israel is a country that supports human rights such as gay rights, and multiculturalism is a good thing because I myself am a minority in Canada, so multiculturalism for me is very important. So Israel is a very multicultural country.
So I'm here with Marcy Hamilton. Her family was actually hurt in the 2014 riot that was here, and I'm so glad to see you back. Why is it important for you to be back here now?
It's important to show my solidarity with our people, with the Jewish community, with Canada, just to show how proud we are being Canadian and the freedoms that we have, and I want to keep them.
But I also wanted to know why the other side was there too. I wanted to know why the pro-terror ralliers would use our Canadian freedoms to push their message of death, Sharia law, and fewer freedoms for all. Now, I didn't get very far. The Calgary Police Service stopped Holly and I. They told us they were just trying to keep the peace, and they were concerned our presence would incite the pro-terror side into violence, and advised us to go back across the street. Here. I can't ask them any questions.
Do you think that's a good idea?
It's my job to report things as I see them.
Oh, so you're impartial?
I never said I'm impartial.
Okay.
That's not. Journalism isn't impartial, right? It's not.
I'm just trying to keep the peace. That's all my role is here.
No, and I understand that. You've got a big job ahead of you, given what happened in 2014. Now, not wanting to get beaten up, Holly and I complied. But the idea that our JDL hats would get us beaten up on the streets of a great city in my home province is shocking to me. But as Holly and I went back across the street, we saw the CBC interviewing the pro-Hamas side. I guess they're impartial enough and I'm not, although I don't know why anybody needs to be impartial about genocide. Now, as the rallies were winding down, I noticed a familiar face. It was Saima Jamal. She's the woman who organized the 2014 pro-Hamas rally that broke out into violence. She calls herself a peace activist while actively working with groups that call for genocide of Jews. And I confronted her on something I've waited 2 years to confront her about. Here.
I don't really talk to rebel media.
Why not?
Just don't.
Say, for example, if violence breaks out and the Hamiltons get beaten up again, are you going to laugh on your Facebook page about that?
I never laughed on my Facebook page about that. That was a big misunderstanding, but I never, ever, as a peace activist, would do that. That's kind of laughable that you would even think like that.
Now, this is what I'm referring to. After the Hamiltons, the family of that nice lady Marcy that I spoke to earlier, were beaten in the streets of Calgary, Jamal took to her Facebook to laugh about it. And that she was saying to my face that she's a peace activist while laughing about violence against Jewish Canadians, saying they'll think twice about showing their faces next time. Well, Saima, you were wrong, and these people aren't scared. Although it's also interesting to me that the police were fine with Saima Jamal being on the Jewish side of the rally, while simultaneously being concerned about Holly and I on the Hamas side. It's an annoying double standard, but it's also a passive admission that the pro-Israeli side is just more tolerant, with less tendencies toward violence than the Al-Quds Day supporters. But Saima Jamal wasn't done. She tried to confront us at the truck as we loaded up our gear, because like she said, she doesn't talk to the rebel. She doesn't talk to us so much that she approached us a second time. Now, I was taken off guard, but I had pretty well had it with her. Here.
As Rebel TV, you have the responsibility
Sure.
to be responsible journalist, right?
Yeah.
So don't make things up as you go. That's
So
all
what am
I'm
I
trying to
making
say.
up?
I'm just saying that, you know.
No, but you just said we made things up. What are we making up?
The thing is, I would never, as a peace activist, wish harm upon anyone.
In Calgary, over the weekend, we saw pro-freedom, pro-Canada people on one side of the street celebrating our ability to live together. And we had pro-genocide, pro-ethnic cleansing people, pro-Sharia law people, wanting an entire other culture dead. It's a microcosm for what's happening in the Western world. We have people advocating genocide masquerading as peace and justice activists, and people who want the right to exist being accused of war crimes. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.